So I was just at this huge AI summit. And you'd think all the experts would be talking about code and algorithms, right? But what they actually revealed was this really counterintuitive secret to success with AI. And here's the kicker. It has way less to do with mastering the machine and a whole lot more to do with mastering yourself. Let's break down what that actually means.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the massive opportunity right in front of us, and also the one big thing that gets in most people's way. Then we'll get into building your own foundation for success. I'll show you a super simple but really powerful way to think about AI, and then we'll see how it all works in the real world. We'll wrap up with what this whole shift really means for you and your future.
It feels like we are living in this really unique moment in history. Experts, guys like Tony Robbins, they're not just calling this some small step forward, they're calling it a full-blown revolution. And it's one of those things where you can either be at the front, leading the charge, or you risk getting left behind.
This quote just nails the feeling perfectly, doesn't it? We're basically pioneers here, exploring brand new territory. This window of opportunity, the one where you can get a massive advantage, it's wide open right now. But, and this is the important part, it is not going to stay open forever.
But see, that incredible promise leads directly to a problem that I think a lot of us feel. There's just so much noise, right? So many new tools coming out every day that it's so easy to feel completely overwhelmed, like you're already behind before you've even started. And that feeling, that complexity, that's the single biggest thing stopping people from grabbing this opportunity.
So how do we cut through all that noise? Well, according to speaker Dean Graziosi, most of us are actually starting in completely the wrong place. He says success with AI, it doesn't begin with the tech. No, it begins with you, with your own clarity and your own sense of purpose.
And this phrase, this gets right to the heart of it. I mean, think about it. If you don't have a crystal clear goal, some compelling future that's just pulling you forward, then even the most powerful tool in the world is, well, it's useless. You're just playing with a shiny new toy that has no direction.
So Graziosi offers this really simple but powerful process to make your goal feel real. First, you set a big goal for the next 90 days. But you don't stop there. Then you actually identify what could stop you, you brainstorm solutions ahead of time, and then, and this is the most important part, you anchor all of it to a deep emotional reason, your why. That's what's going to drive you through any challenge.
So before you even start asking what AI can do, you have to define what you want to do first. It's your goals, your ambitions, your why. That's the human foundation that actually gives all this technology its power.
Okay, so once you have that foundation locked in, we can start to build a really practical framework for how to use AI. And for this, Harvard professor Dr. Arthur Brooks has this brilliant mental model that puts AI in its perfect place.
Now, the key here is the specific wording. Pay attention to this. AI is an absolute master of complicated problems. These are things that are really hard, but they're ultimately solvable with enough data and logic, like analyzing a massive spreadsheet or writing a piece of code. Humans, on the other hand, we excel at complex problems. Things like love, creativity, finding purpose, things that you can never really solve with a formula.
And this quote just drives that point all the way home. Let AI handle the complicated stuff. Why? So it frees us up to focus on the truly complex things that actually give our lives meaning. See, the goal isn't to outsource our thinking. It's to buy back our time so we can be more human.
Dr. Brooks argues that this time we get back, it shouldn't just be idle time. We should be actively investing it in these deeply human, right-brain kinds of things. It's about consciously using technology to make more space for connection, for reflection, and for real, genuine experiences.
Okay, so we've got the foundation, our why, and we've got the framework, the two brains. Now let's see what this actually looks like in a real-world application. Entrepreneur Sabrina Romanov treats AI as her ultimate left brain assistant, and honestly, the results are just stunning.
Get this. As a solopreneur, a team of exactly one person, Sabrina has achieved results that would have taken a huge team and a massive budget just a few years ago. This is what we mean by amplification. AI isn't replacing her, it's multiplying her impact. So she breaks down her whole process, starting with just coming up with ideas. The old way? Hours and hours of scrolling through social media, trying to figure out what's trending. The new way? She uses AI to analyze massive amounts of info and pinpoint what her audience truly cares about, saving herself countless hours of guesswork.
And then there's the creation process itself. That terror of the blank page? Well, it's gone. AI acts as her creative sparring partner.
It generates first drafts for her to react to and improve. And then, it can even automate the visual design, turning simple text into these polished graphics in an instant.
And finally, publishing. Instead of her having to manually adapt every piece of content for every different social media platform, AI can take one core idea and automatically repurpose it. It becomes a video script, a social media thread, an image carousel, all from one starting point. That multiplies her presence with zero extra effort. Now that is true leverage.
All right, so let's tie this all together. We've seen the opportunity, we've talked about the personal foundation you need, the mental framework to use, and a real-world example. And the one thread connecting everything is this. AI's real purpose isn't to replace us. It's to amplify what makes us most human.
This right here is the whole strategy in a nutshell. It starts with your human goal. It's executed by delegating all those complicated tasks to your AI assistant. And the result? You get more time and more energy to focus on the complex, creative work that really, truly matters.
At the end of the day, this isn't just about learning a new tool to be a little more productive. It's about using a totally new form of leverage to buy back hours of our lives. And that is our most finite and precious resource, isn't it?
Which leaves us with the ultimate question. This technology is basically handing you back time on a silver platter. The real work, the human work, is deciding how you're going to invest it. What complex problems will you choose to focus on?